Hi, welcome to the Passionate Spinner. My name is Tracy, and today I want to share a very special video with you. So this is kind of a roundup, or I've done it kind of video for a project that I worked on for the last 1.5 years. And it's a combination of things, right? So I filmed the idea intro video for this during Vlogmas in 2023. That's when I came up with the idea for this project. And this project has to do with K-pop, but it is only knitting. Sounds weird, right? I know. So the thing is, in 2023, I found the world of K-pop. And I just felt very happy there. I still am. So I came up with an idea to knit sweaters. And I will link the video down below so you can watch the initial idea, but the initial, like, to make it very short. Korea has mandatory military service. And I knit 7 sweaters for 7 BTS members. And the idea behind was to finish it by discharge day of military, because they've all completed their military service today. Saturday, the 21st of June, 2025 is the day where the last member gets discharged from the military. So I knit 7 sweaters, basically, that I think would work for the person, but that, my brain makes weird connections with. But the thing was, I wanted to use stash yarn. I wanted to use patterns that I had in my queue for a long time. And basically, it was just an incentive for me to make things that I wanted to make for a long time. Did I end up doing that? Kind of. Now, the important thing is, I finished all 7 sweaters in time. I finished the last one yesterday. But they're done. And I'm very happy and I'm very proud, and I managed to finish all of them by the day that the person was discharged. So, I set a goal, I stuck with it. I'm very happy about that. Now, for the other parts of my goals, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to share all of the sweaters with you now. And I have filmed short clips of me wearing them, and I'm going to try to put them in here, splice this up, or maybe just pause and, doesn't matter. I'm going to try to make you see everything, right? Now, I'm going to start. I have a big pile of sweaters next to me. So I knit 7 sweaters, like I said. I'm going to link all of the patterns down below. And also what I did for all 7 of those sweaters is I filmed project vlogs where I talked about, first of all, why did I choose this pattern? What's the pattern name? Who's the designer? What yarn am I using? Why am I using this yarn? And then from cast on to finished, all the ups and downs, all the mistakes, all the decision making, everything, right? Everything is in a separate vlog, 7 separate vlogs, actually. They're up on Patreon. So if you're super interested in seeing all of that, just go to Patreon and check all of them out. I promise my Patreon has a lot to offer and it's not expensive. So just so you know that. And if you say, hey, I'm going to see those sweaters now, that's good, right? So let's start. I'm going to start with this sweater here. Like I said, I put them all on, which, I want applause for because it's scorching hot outside. So this is the sweater. Sweater number 1. It's not the first I finished. I'm just the first in the stack. So this is the sweater that I knit for RM, who is the leader of BTS. And my incentive, my initial idea was to knit, I think it's called Honeycomb Aran. It's a free pattern by Patterns. It has been out for a few years. And I wanted to knit it in a cream color, that comfort sweater. But I didn't have cream. I only have a cream. I do have a creamy tweed yarn, but it's Aran weight and it was just way too warm and I will never wear it. So why use it, right? So what I used instead was this yarn here. And the yarn is called Madil. No, it's called Loden. It's from a company called Madil Yarns. And this was in my stash for I'm gonna say 15 years. Forever. One of the oldest sweater quantities I have. Maybe the oldest. And now it's gone. All used up. I think I used 13 and a half skeins. I had 15. So, you know. And the sweater pattern that I used is called Orem sweater, and it's by a Korean designer, which, you know, just fit together. It's still cabled, you know, it still is that comfort piece that just feels like a hug, right? So I achieved my goal there. I used yarn that I had for a very long time, but I did buy a new pattern for it. So, you know, it's a half and half, I would say. Then next on the pile is what I finished last. And it is this vest here. I wove in ends here, or I attached new yarn here, and it looks horrible. And here I dropped the stitch and I wasn't able to fix it invisibly. But you know what? I'm not gonna care. So here we are. This here is the Ripplesdale vest by Lily Kate Makes. Just gonna show you this side because it looks better. So I used yarn from Stash. I also had the pattern in my stash. I bought it when it came out a few years ago. So, you know, 2 for 2. And also the buttons came from Stash, which is nice. So this yarn is called, it's online yarn. It's called Linie 19 Deluxe, I think. It is a merino, cotton, and silk blend, which is not ideal, or not what the pattern calls for. The pattern calls for a worsted weight. Mine was a DK. So what I did, I knit a swatch, right? I did knit a swatch. And then I ended up knitting it 2 sizes bigger than I should for, you know, according to pattern. And it turned out pretty well. It is a bit oversized, which I love because it's just, you know, it's nice and snug at the top and then it's nice and flowy at the bottom. So yeah, it is brioche. So we had cables and in tweed yarn. Now we have a solid brioche because I tried to do all kinds of different things, right? Which makes me also happy. Now again, this one here is for Suga, who is discharged today. So, you know, it's the last thing finished. Then garment number 3 on my pile is this one here. Now, and this doesn't fit the bill at all for anything. This one here is called Edgar. It's called Edgar Vest. It is a free pattern from the Hobby website. So I found this afresh, anew, and I also bought the yarn because this is for Jimin. And it is a huge, long pattern, a color repeat, right? But those colors reminded me of a scene from a music video. You know, it only needs to make sense for me, right? It reminded me of colors from a music video. Also, I forgot to do separate. You know what? It will be fine in the end. So this reminded me of colors from a music video. And if I manage to, I will insert the photo or the screenshot that I took. You know, it's kind of similar colors. It's pinks and yellows with a bit of gray. And mine is not so pink, but more purple. But you know what? I don't mind. I think this turned out really well. I really like the pattern. I love how it turned out, actually. It was super nice to knit, but getting that color progression to work out was not fun at all. So yeah, this was simple, but I struggled with this a lot, actually. And if you watch that vlog, you get to know all about that. About the knitting backwards and the trying new things and winding off yarn. It's just, it was a task. So the next sweater on my pile is this sweater, and this is the first one I actually knit. And I've worn this a ton since, which you will probably be able to tell because it starts to pill already. I finished this one first about 1.5 years ago, I would say. Or not 1.5 years ago. A year and a few months ago. Yeah, this was the first one that I did. I'm not sure how much you will be able to see, but it is an intarsia sweater. This sweater is called Volt. It's called Volt sweater. The pattern, I'm not sure who is the designer. I'm sorry. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. Sue Stratford? Maybe. Maybe not. But this one 100% fits all of the boxes, right? It checks off everything. The yarn is from Stash. I bought it at the Perth Festival of Yarns in Scotland. I think in 2018, 2019, one of those 2 years. I only went once, and whenever that was, I bought this yarn. And when I say this yarn, I mean the yellow and also this multicolored skein. Now, the thing was, I needed 5 of the yellow for a sweater, and they only had 4. So I ended up 1 skein short. So I decided to pick up this yarn here, which is das Mondschaf, I think. The yellow is Ripples Crafts. So I ended up with a skein short, so I picked up this one, not yet knowing what to do. And then I came across the Volt sweater that I had in my queue, I think, already at that point. And I was like, ooh, I like this idea. But I needed a 3rd color, you know, for that drop shadow kind of look. And this is just some generic Lana Grossa yarn. And what I did was I went with this to the yarn shop with this skein and chose something that would work, because in here there is these electric blue or dark purpley blue bits. So it just went together really well. And I love this sweater. I wear this sweater really, really a lot. So yeah, the Volt sweater, maybe by Sue Stratford. Who knows? I don't. Also for this one, if you watch the project vlog, you get to see me do sweater surgery, because I screwed up this bit here for the back piece, and I had it basically too short. So I had to do quite a bit of surgery for that sweater. And that is all in that vlog, and way too much to get into right now. So that was 5, was it? 4. That's 4. Now, yes, I have 3 more. Now this one is a bit wrinkly. I'm sorry about that. Now, here we go. This is called Tea Number 1. It's by My Favorite Things Knitwear. The yarn I used is called Alva Silk. It's from Schachenmeier. It's a cotton silk linen blend, maybe. It's a light fingering weight. And this is the garment I like least out of all of these. And that has all to do with the fit. I think I did it too oversized, and now it just looks a bit like a sack. So here we go. This is it. It has deep, like really broad saddle shoulders. You know, I actually really like the design itself, but I do not like how this fits me, because those sleeves are really big and they come out really, you know, really low. So yeah. Now, I forgot something. I forgot to tell you why I chose this sweater for whom. Now, let's roll back a little bit. Back to the Volt sweater. This was my sweater for Jin, who's the oldest member. And I chose that lightning design because when he gets angry, he talks really fast. So that just, you know, like at lightning speed. So that was the thought process. Okay, now, sorry. Back to this one here. This here is the sweater for J-Hope, who's the most fashionable out of all the members. And you would probably say, Tracy, this is a dark gray t-shirt. Yes, it is. But my thought process was, you can combine this with anything. You can put any kind of jacket on, all of the accessories, wear it with whatever, pants, skirt, colorful, solid, whatever. It doesn't matter, because you can just, you know, spice this up as much as you want. So that was the thought process behind why I chose this one. So yeah, that's that. I also managed to run out of yarn at the end, and I had to do the inside of the folded hem with a leftover sock yarn. And yeah, I'm just, like I said, I'm not super happy with this one. I'm not so sure about it. Now, the one that I'm happiest with is next on the pile, and it is this one here. Now, this is a polo shirt even though the thing, the what's the word? That part, the collar keeps flipping up when I am holding it. But it is a polo shirt. This is called Tuileries Polo, maybe. It's a French name. I cannot speak French. But this was one of the most enjoyable projects I have done in a very long time, because everything in this pattern just went together so perfectly. It was just mind-blowing. So this is by Knits Pour Moi, which I think is maybe called Knits for Me or Knits from Me. I don't speak French. I have no idea. I don't know anything. So again, buttons from Stash. The gray thing, I bought everything. For this one here, everything came from Stash except the pattern. So I had the yarn in my stash. The yarn is Schoppelwolle Alblino, which is a merino linen fingering weight blend. Or it's, you know, yeah, it's a fingering weight. So Schoppelwolle Alblino for this project. The buttons are from my button jar as well. So everything, you know, material came from Stash, but I did buy the pattern specifically to make this, and I am so happy with it. It turned out so well. Like, I'm not able to show you, but you will see when I wear it. It's just perfection. So happy with this. I will definitely knit another thing from that designer, because like I said, this pattern is just mwah, perfect. Now, the last of the 7 sweaters is this. This is my entry for JK, Jungkook, who sometimes wears a bit weird things, right? That was my thought process behind this. And this is the Marled Magic sweater by Stephen West, which was a UFO. It was the only thing that I had on the needles already. And it was initially cast on in 2019. And I finished it within 5 days. So this is a huge thing to show. I'm not even gonna try to show it all at once because it's impossible. So this is what it looks like. And then it goes on, and then it goes on, and then it goes on a bit more. So, right, it's huge. So what I had done was everything until here. I was about here. And this here is section 7. There's 14 sections in this and the sleeve cuffs. So I had to finish section 7 and then knit 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and the sleeve cuffs. So I did over half. I would say 2/3 of the knitting of this thing was done within 5 days because I was really pressed on time. But it is done. Also, it's itchy. So here's the back. I'm gonna try to show you as much as possible. Okay, so the Marled Magic sweater is written to be a leftover project for fingering weight yarn. And I did that, but it's, you know, it's a you hold 2 strands together pattern. What I did for my strands is I used the neutral all the way. And my neutral was either Drops Alpaca or Lana Grossa Silk Hair. So this is extremely warm. So I used, this thing weighs 821 grams. It is super heavy. I used up a ton of yarn scraps for it because all of the colorful stuff is leftovers. And like I said, I just paired that with Drops Alpaca or Silk Hair. So, you know, it's going to be very, very warm. It's also very unshapely. It's just, I'm not sure yet when it comes to this sweater. You know, but yeah, that's my BTS sweater project. I knit 7 sweaters, all for myself, of course, all with a why would I do this for this person, which I've again not told you for this person. This sweater here was my sweater for V, and he is a very classic chic kind of person, so I thought a polo shirt, you know, it's a good fit for that. Now, I'm sorry, I know this video was a lot of back and forth, and hopefully there will be a lot of cuts in here where all of the little snippets of me wearing this will be interspersed. If not, it will be all at the back, just all of them after this, which is a lot less work. So I might just do it anyways. Maybe. So I'm just, you know, I did a lot of knitting in the last 2 months where I finished 4 of those sweaters. And yeah, it was a lot of work, really. I finished the first sweater last year, I think in maybe April was discharge day for the first person, probably. Oh, I have mohair in my nose. I'm so sorry. So I finished that vault sweater first, and then I did, I think Jin was released in April. Maybe it was June, not sure. Then in October last year was the discharge day for J-Hope, which was that charcoal gray sack thing. And all of the other people were released within the last 12 days. So, you know, idiot me thought, oh, I have a lot of time. There's so much time between October and now. And then on New Year's Eve, I cast on the purple cabled sweater, which is great. And in March, I knit that other, the Edgar vest, also great. But yeah, I just kind of lost track on everything and did the majority of the rest within the last 6 weeks, I would say, which was not ideal because I would have had a lot of time. But, you know, I'm a procrastinator and I'm going to get to it. And yeah, I am right now very glad that it's over because I have not done anything but focus on these projects like a maniac for the last 6 weeks. And now I'm free and I can craft and do whatever I want, and it feels so good. And I know that I was free before technically because this was just for me, but I had to prove to myself that I can do this, and I did. So I'm very happy. I'm gonna just add all of the clips now so you get to see me wear all 7 sweaters now when this is over. And if you want to see the project vlogs for all of those projects, you can join my Patreon, and there's a hashtag BTS, and just, you know, watch all of those vlogs there and get to know all of the thoughts that I had when I made those things and why I did certain things a certain way, why I chose stuff, and, you know, all of that is in those project vlogs. They are between, I would say, 40 minutes and an hour 20 long each. So, you know, there's a lot to explore. And yeah, I'm gonna shut up. I hope you all had a wonderful time, and I hope you enjoy everything you do. Goodbye.